Jordan Grand Prix is now one of the leading teams in Formula One, racing with the full works backing from the giant French car manufacturer Peugeot. The story begins on the 30th of March 1948, when Eddie Jordan was born in the fair city of Dublin. He left Synge Street School in 1966 and initially entered university to study dentistry, but decided on the world of finance instead. It was the Irish banking strike of 1970 that took Eddie to work in Jersey, and his first introduction to motorsport with go-karts. After competing for 2 years and winning the Irish Championship in 1972, Eddie moved on to Formula Ford 1600, then to Formula Atlantic, taking the 1978 Irish title in a Chevron B29. With his career flourishing, he decided to move to Silverstone, teaming up with Stefan Johansson at Team Ireland to race Chevron chassis in the British Formula 3 Championship. In 1979, Eddie made his Formula 2 debut at Donington Park. He also tested the McLaren F1, but at the end of the year decided to go his own way and establish Eddie Jordan Racing at Silverstone. Eddie had always had a dream to become world champion, but decided it would not be as a driver. He retired from single-seater racing at the end of 1981 to concentrate on running his team instead. The following year, the team ran cars for several drivers on the British, seen here with David Sears, and European racing circuit with James Weaver. Also in 1982, Eddie Jordan gave a young Brazilian driver by the name of Ayrton Senna his first opportunity to test a Formula 3 car. 1983 saw a further expansion for the fledgling team with Martin Brundle and Alan Berg competing in the British Formula 3 Championship. Brundle took his Ralt Toyota to 6 race wins that year, securing second overall in the British Championship. In 1984, Berg echoed Brundle's performance, taking the runner-up slot in the F3 Championship. David Hunt raced Jordan's second Ralt Toyota in the British Series, while Davy Jones headed a 2-car entry in Europe. Also in 1984, Stefan Johansson was a heat winner at the Macau Grand Prix. In 1985, Jordan moved into Formula 3000, with Thierry Tassin racing a March Ford in Europe. 1986 saw Jordan drivers back on the winners' rostrum, with Maurizio Sala and Joe Rice, Sala being runner-up in the championship. In 1987, Johnny Herbert finally secured the Formula 3 title for Eddie Jordan Racing. In 1988, the team were third in the International Formula 3000 Championship with Martin Donnelly. For 1989, Donnelly stayed with the team and was joined by Jean Alesi, Jean winning the championship for Eddie Jordan Racing in that year. As the move to Formula 1 gathered pace, Eddie concentrated on Formula 3000, and in 1990 ran Eddie Irvine, Emmanuel Naspetti and Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Irvine was the dominant of the three, gaining third place in the championship. In 1990, Jordan Grand Prix was founded, and in 1991 it was to be this fledgling Formula 1 team that was to prove the success story of the motorsport year. Not only giving a career-first Formula 1 drive in the Belgian Grand Prix to current world champion Michael Schumacher, but also taking the establishment by surprise by finishing an unprecedented 5th in the Constructors' World Championship. For 1992, Eddie Jordan looked to build on that impressive start with a move to new £2 million purpose-built premises. But 1992 proved to be a frustrating season, scoring only 1 championship point at the final race of the year in Adelaide. For 1993 and 94, Jordan signed a contract with Brian Hart to supply his new V10 engine. Then, just a few weeks later, signed the rising Brazilian star Rubens Barrichello. 1993 proved another frustrating year, with a wait to the penultimate round of the season in Japan for the points to come, with Rubens finishing 5th and his partner and Formula 1 newcomer Eddie Irvine in 6th. For 1994, Eddie Jordan retained Barrichello and Irvine, with Barrichello bringing his car home 4th at the season opener in Brazil, then going one better at the next round, scoring both his and the team's first rostrum finish with a 3rd at the Pacific Grand Prix. Rubens reached another milestone when he scored his first pole position in the wet at Spa. Such performances secured Jordan's position hard on the heels of the Big Four, and at the end of the year had scored 28 World Championship points to record 5th place overall in the Constructors' World Championship. The team maintained their driver lineup for the 95 season, which started very satisfactorily, with the Canadian race proving a turning point, with Rubens coming home in a personal best 2nd place and Eddie just 1 place behind and his first rostrum finish in 3rd. Success continued at Nürburgring, with Rubens finishing in 4th and Eddie just missing out on 5th. The Japanese Grand Prix brought Eddie Irvine his 3rd successive points finish, with a 4th place at this his adopted home event. The 95 season ended with the departure of Eddie Irvine and the arrival, or welcome return, of Martin Brundle to the Jordan fold after an absence of 12 years. Also appointed as a test and reserve driver for 1996 was the 28-year-old Italian Gianni Morbidelli, who comes with 5 years of Formula One experience. At the end of March, Rubens celebrated his 50th Grand Prix with a front-row grid slot in front of his home crowd in Brazil. And with Martin lining up 6th, the team had realised the potential they showed in pre-season testing. After 6 years in the ultra-competitive world of Formula One, Eddie Jordan has now created the ingredients for a winning mix of sponsors, engines, chassis designers, fuel, and not least, a considerable investment in people, and is ready to mount a sustained assault on the Formula One World Championship. The team has now moved into the Gold League, said Eddie Jordan. Everyone is totally confident and focused to ensure the continued and future success of the Benson & Hedges Total Jordan Peugeot Grand Prix team.